welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by Refracted, Neil, Adam, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server, so welcome one and all.
Let's get it on!
Morning.
Good morning. So there's a little violin playing in the background as I say, we're not in politics today. So we have been permanently banned from politics Discord server. So it is with a heavy heart that we will not be continuing our attendance there. Now, in all fairness, we had ultimately served our goal there, and moving into the new year, initially we were seeking reasons to stay. So from that perspective, and if you suggest he's just finding excuses after being banned, that's absolutely correct. I am just justifying it. That is not untrue. However, it is also true that we were genuinely, literally looking for reasons to stay in there after, I don't know, having a good run would be putting it mildly. Now, after the fact, we're being told nobody wanted you there. Now, we knew that, I knew that, and therefore I potentially should have been a lot more careful, given that quite frequently I'd have to extend the facts that I was there, not under duress or under, their duress of having me there, but you know what I mean, weren't necessarily 100% welcome, and we can pretty much find out by the rumblings of the background voting that's been done. If I'm honest, when I heard that, I'm like, vote? About me? I was flattered. Okay, fair enough.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I said, wow, they've gathered in mass.
Oh, now I get it. Oh, now I see what you were saying in the pre-show. Yeah, the fact that they've got together to even discuss it. Now, I mean, admittedly, I shouldn't be shocked. I'm having a weekly show that's organised event by them, so fine. But on the other hand, I just think of people that I would ban, and I'd just be like, what's that? You've put me on mute on my own show? I'll just ban this dickhead. That would be my attitude. Not, should we gather together? We are here summoned as one to discuss the fate of one Nathan Oakley. How say you? No, I still thank him.
You know what, Nathan?
Go ahead.
You know what, Nathan? The conversation today that I was there expecting that you would also be there because I forgot that you got perma-banned. So the conversation started because Threat, the moderator over there, was reprimanding a globe earther that you can't expect to come here and run the show. And I responded by saying, isn't that exactly what Nathan Oakley used to do every Friday before that? So that's how it started. And I did not catch it live last Friday, but I learned later that you got banned and muted on your own show. That's amazing.
Well, that's exactly it. So it's a balance. It's no is the answer to your question as far as they are concerned. Am I running the show? No, I'm running my show, and I'm privileged to be in their server, under their rules, their moderation, and their guidance. So no, absolutely not. But that was made occasionally clear when I'm chastising a baller and saying, you will be removed if you do not respond, and then pointing out immediately afterwards, actually, I've got absolutely no control in this server, I am also a guest, would be often disclaimed by me, because there's an impression that I'm in control of the server. I'm not. Partially, that's the reason for being there. It's not my server. I mean, this isn't either, But people have actually forgotten that and still say, oh, well, you've got the ability to mute people in that server. Yes, I have. Well, not so in politics, past tense. But I was just about to say, one last point. I still thank them. I am so grateful that they've had me there. That's why every week, right, when I would leave, I would profusely thank the moderation team and thank them for having us. That it still goes
Yeah, they were
without saying.
rolling their freaking eyes when you were doing it, okay? Number one, they brought you in, they said, we'll allow you to do your show here, right? They set up a platform for it, and they wanted you not to be Nathan. What sense does that make?
Look, they've got rules. I thank them all the same. I am still grateful. As much as you're saying they roll their eyes, you don't know that. Now, that may be the case, and I don't care if it was. My sincerity in their reaction to it is irrelevant. My sincerity is all that matters in this instance. That's all I can control. I am sincerely grateful for our attendance at Politics. Now, had at the end of 2024 our ways parted anyway, that is to say, we had stopped going in because we were like, no, well, our job here's done. We'll find somewhere else. We didn't find somewhere else, therefore we carried on hanging around to the point where we got banned and I got complacent. Well, I should really, openly and publicly apologise to them. I shouldn't be putting them in that position. That's not reasonable on their part to have to deal with me doing that in complete violation of their rules, which I was acutely aware of. So I shouldn't have put them in that position. I should be the one apologising to them. Yet you're getting all frustrated like they've done something wrong, and they haven't.
Do you tell people on your show not to swear?
No, it's not.
Do you tell people who are talking to you not to swear because, it's the stream?
Shut up, Omnivore.
Nathan,
You're not part of this conversation. You're a time waster.
Well, part of the reason they're told not to swear is monetization, of course, but secondarily, it's a way to try to keep people calm. But I can tell anybody I want to not to do anything I want to in my house. I can do anything I want to in my house. Get it?
Yeah, and I'm in my house in someone else's house, if you know what I mean. So you have to extend courtesy to your hosts, which they are, and have been exceptionally good hosts. I commend them for it. One of the reasons I've commended them is the same simultaneous reason I've been banned. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, you're such good moderators. You would, keep to the stringent rules so that everything's fair. Right, until it's applied to me, this isn't reasonable.
It's unreasonable that it's a permanent. Why is everybody missing my point? It's unreasonable that you're permanently banned. A couple of days, fine. Slap on the hand, Nathan, you don't do that. I get it. There's something deeper than this, and they use it for a freaking excuse. I got no use for them.
I mean, I do tend to agree with Neil because when I got banned a few weeks ago for a few days, there was some mods in there saying, they're sick of the old repetitive flat earth proofs, the way that we're dealing with going on the front foot forward, So this is what I heard them say, and then I was banned for a few days. They like the conversation and talking about other stuff. They don't like the fact that we come in and chop people's heads off and say you can't use horizontal level, Earth's measured flat, and it's simple as that.
Thank you very much, One Deck, because I was saying that earlier. They like to talk and hear themselves talk, and they don't want to end the argument. We were a direct freaking conflict to what they want to talk about there.
It's because they can't. Brian was talking about this the other day, and it suddenly dawned on me that he's more right than he probably realises. So Brian laid out that there is an expectation laid upon us by our opponents, like Hayuku is here and that Omni guy, that when they find some gotcha, that we have to concede to it. We have to be led by them to the point where we're shown to be wrong, stupid, whatever they're trying to achieve with some individual, rather than the high-level argument of Earth being measured flat. They want to make us as individuals look stupid, and they expect us to be led by them as they demonstrate that to our own audiences in this instance. Now, when the same is true in reverse, we lead them. They won't do that. They won't extend the same courtesy back. Yeah? There'll be long, protracted silences. They'll put you on your server mute so they don't have to locally listen to you while they try and take charge of the rest of the discussion in the server. Things like that. Absolutely disrespectful Those sorts of behaviours when they're expecting you to be led by the hand and show some humility in the face of the point that they're making to you is never extended back, ever. In fact, the only reason they're doing that is so they can project their pain directly onto you and have you be the one who has to have that humility rather than them. So when the scenario's reversed and they are put in a position where they should show humility, they do not. Which is why people like Hyuka, people like Omnivore, they're not worth our time. These people are wankers.
Well, if you entertain absurdity long enough, like if you just sit there and put statements of fact into what if scenarios, you will eventually create a world that has no resemblance to reality.
Nathan, we're all alone.
Okay, it says, I miss Sleeping Warrior. Right, I love this flat earth attitude, and it is unique to flat earth. One of the few things that's unique. Maybe it isn't, but it seems like it is. This idea that when somebody disappears temporarily from YouTube, that they're basically dead. You need to be in mourning for them. Right, I spoke to Sleeping Warrior about a week ago about boring house-related stuff. But nevertheless, he's not dead. He hasn't disappeared. He's just doing other stuff, right? He's not a YouTuber, right? Most of the people who got all excited about Flat Earth from 10 years ago till now and did make YouTube videos was because they were compelled to make YouTube videos rather than being videographers. Now, obviously, they've found themselves foisted into a group that's called Flat Earth or Flat Earthers when they realise the awful truth that they've been, let's say, deceived. I was going to say deceived, but I can't think of another word quick enough. Yeah, deceived into believing they're on a ball. They find themselves united with a load of other crackpot idiots who are conspiratards for the most part. And therefore, they're in that little group and their videography scrutinised by these other group that are scared to analyse the nature of Earth being flat, called anti-flat earthers, deemed by us. Well, that doesn't make them videographers. It doesn't mean they're going to be here making videos all day long, and their temporary engagement with the subject or YouTube itself doesn't mean we have to mourn their loss when they go, right? So Anthony happens to be a mate of mine, which means that quite frequently we'll fall out and argue and call each other dicks. But that's in a kind of mate way that mates do fall out. But he'll reappear. Anthony's, I'm sure I've seen him over on Flatzoids, and I'm like, dickhead, on his show, not mine.
Yeah, he won't come to you, though. I'll tell you
will.
what, he is freaking stubborn.
He is stubborn. He's worse than I am. But that's okay. That's part of Anthony's charm. But that's not the point here. The point isn't to praise Anthony, right?
Wasn't it
Scully charm.
who was pointing out the problem with the flat Earth measurements? Because, the 24/7 guys, they are abandoning the 1 degree measurement to Polaris in 69 miles. Are you aware of that? And maybe that's why you cannot go there anymore, because they cannot have you say these things.
Right, you're talking about what people do with the flat Earth measurements, right? Immediate silence. I love it. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So only 25 seconds ago, I pointed out that they're expecting a concession from me about what people in 24/7 will do and whether or not I'm concerned about what those people will do in light of how people deal with these flat Earth only measurements. And I've put that back to him. We've got a stony silence, haven't we? So no humility, and now he's disappeared. Literally. So I don't care. I wouldn't care if I was the last man standing, Kayuka. I know Earth's measured flat, and it is. You're saying the people in politics or 24/7 politics don't like talking about flat Earth elevation angles? What's my concern going to be? I don't care.
Well, you nailed that one, Nathan.
You have no observable data to back it.
Oh, that's an empty, meaningless statement. I have no data to back what about what? What are you babbling about?
Oh, when did you measure an angle? When did you measure 69 miles?
I didn't. What are you talking about?
Who?
What are you, a freaking owl? Who?
Yeah, Nathan, did you ever count $1 million? And if you didn't count $1 million, does that mean $1 million doesn't exist?
No, I've never counted $1 million, John. Does that mean that such a quantity doesn't exist? if I haven't counted it.
Good analogy.
That is what Ayuka is proposing.
Yeah, it's idiotic. Same in terms of whether or not I concern myself with other people doing that. No, I don't care. I'll just explain that again to you as he asked. I'm polite enough to answer. I mean, he didn't answer me, did he? So I don't really understand why I would extend Huyuka any humility whatsoever. Let's just remove him from the discussion. He got from me what he was seeking, right? I answered him. I couldn't give two shiny shites what people in politics do with elevation angles that require a flat earth, like the ones on screen. Now, did I make this diagram or measure it? No, neither. Couldn't give a crap. Doesn't make any difference. Earth's measured flat with it. Do I care the people in politics? I've already explained this to this wanker. Why is my blood pressure raising? Because I'm dealing with a wanker. When I asked him about whether or not he's going to ask me about my concern about flat earth only elevation angle measurements and whether or not people will be or won't be utilising them after the fact in politics, but I laboured that flat earth only measurement bit and got silence. Zero humility. Yeah? Zero concession. But what, I'm supposed to be led by the hand about my concern for people over in the politics server who have banned me? No! Definitely not. I only concern myself with the overarching flat earth elevation angle measurement as demonstrated on screen. From a navigation manual. I didn't make this. Who cares if I've done it? Earth's measured flat with it. And what's that? People aren't using it over in the server, they just banned it. Oh, well. If I was the last dude on Earth who knew this was just a flat Earth measurement, we'd still be measuring it.
It's weird, isn't it? How you're just critiquing different flat Earth conversations, but they never come in with actual solid evidence of, listen, flat Earth idiots, the Earth's a globe, and this is how it's measured. This is the instruments that measured it. You're all fools. We don't get any of that, do we?
We get personal attacks and personal suggestions and asking what I think about how other people utilise arguments, right? These people are lowbrow dickheads, yeah? Now, what he actually wants is a little I can show how you're stupid moment. But when we do show him how he's measuring a flat earth, we get Jack back. Now, give and take, right? Hugh, I'm going to ban you. I've made it explicitly clear by moving you into a different room that I don't want you in here, right? What's he doing? Get lost. Now, if you, when I ask you about the flat earth elevation angle measurement that you're asking me about and how it would be a flat earth only angle, if you give me total silence, why do I have to give him anything? And I won't. From this point forth, I know how to win. Right? Within seconds of that discussion opening, I'd won. Because he's asking me about how a flat earth angle's going to be perceived by other people in a different server. So when I go, how that flat earth angle will or won't get used, here's another one on screen. Flat earth elevation angle measurement to a star. From a navigation manual. I didn't make this. I haven't measured one either. Sorry, does that mean it's not a flat earth only elevation angle measurement that's absolutely unequivocally required for him to ask me about how other people will or won't be using it at 1 degree to Polaris? Off a flat earth that he ain't conceding, I got total silence from him. Yes, because I win immediately. Yeah? So what have they got? Oh, well, let's talk about how you got banned. Let's talk about whether or not you can concede that they won't use your arguments anymore. I couldn't care less. I know Earth's flat. I can demonstrate it easily. And when I do I get anything back from my opponent? No, I get stony silence. That's what I get. So why am I going to give you anything? I'm not. I'll remove you immediately for being a disingenuous prick.
Further to that, you use their words to prove that it's flat. Their measurements to prove it's flat. They don't like that.
No, but Nathan didn't do it personally, so it's not good. I like that analogy with the $1 million. They're a bunch of fools. And you've been very patient with Hayuka. Perma-ban his ass.
Yeah. Why? We're not getting a reasonable back and forth with these people. They expect concessions from us. Brian summed it up perfectly. Okay. You expect me to go on coward knee and offer up my cup, my cap in hand apology when you perceive something presumably majoring on the minors that I've got wrong. I've got a cap in hand apologise for it to you dicks who give me absolutely nothing when I prove Earth's flat with your own words. Are you going to say, oh, yeah, I will need a flat Earth flat? No, we get stony silence, but an expectation that some minor that they're majoring on has to be conceded with me crying about it. No, dickheads. I'm just going to remove you immediately. If you can't cope with having to concede something, then you're not worthy of discussion with us. Have some bleeding humility. Brian, the guy who pointed this out, whenever he gets something wrong, he's immediately on it like flies on the proverbial, admitting it, showing that he can admit to it, highlighting that he has got it wrong, and he can just admit to it. Do they give us that?
That just happened with Omnivore last week. Brian admitted where he was wrong. But they can't admit when they're wrong.
Yeah, in this case, I'm being asked about whether or not people in a server will or will not use elevation angles. Look, on screen now, we've got how they're measured, elevation angles as defined and used for navigating and building and surveying and charting. All of these things rely on this measurement. And it's with respect to a GP at 90 degrees to your position. It's a flat earth prerequisite. Do I give a toss whether or not people in politics use it? Oh, right, what he's saying is, I'm winning the consensus battle. They're not using your flat earth prerequisite. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, that was the whole purpose of me going over there. Oh, is it joy for you, a happy day moment, because the consensus is swinging back in terms of it's almost at 100% again? It wouldn't matter if I was the last man on Earth and I knew Earth was flat and nobody else recognised that this angle on screen now can never come from a curved surface. And it's utilised, in practical terms, on Earth's surface, daily. So do I give a crap if you say, oh, they're not using it? No, they're not trying to save their lives at sea, though, are they? Over in politics server. They're not charting the land, are they? Have they charted the land in politics? You were asking me if I'd done it. Are they out charting the land when they deny this process? Of course not. They're just a bunch of dicks denying elevation angles if that's the case.
You hit it right in the head. If they were lost at sea, they better use it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they're not using it while they're on politics server. Oh, that's a shame. Did they need to establish a GP? Ask me if I care. No. I do deeply care about my band, though. I had to have counselling from my wife. She was consoling me yesterday. She was stroking my head. She said, I really, really, really miss your hair. No, she said something about politics, actually. I can't remember. Something like that. Anyway, so we're all having fun. I'm going out for a curry with Craig tonight. I'm actually quite pleased about the fact we're not in politics, because sometimes it gets a bit stressful because it gets dry, doesn't it? We get there and we're like, over the last month or two, I've been saying, yeah, it might be the case that there's quite a few protracted silences in the live show because nobody wants to pipe up because they don't want to get their ass handed to them. Yeah? Second someone pipes up, they're having their ass handed to them with their own words that need a flat earth measurement immediately. So it was getting a bit stale, a bit like occasionally it used to get in this server. Like, what have we got? We've got Hayuka. Oh, what was it? Who. Yeah, bloody hell. These are the people.
Yeah, he was imitating an owl.
You know, any relationship is about give and take. So when it comes to our relationship with people like Hayuka or Omnivore, it's like, no, this is not going to be a one-way street where you seek concession from me and never give it in return. So, Brian, shout out to you. Brian's wise beyond his years, isn't he? And the thing is, right, when someone's like that...
I agree. I totally agree. Yes.
He often says, when he's... Oh, no, I'll be pinned down listening to him. I'm like, wow, this is absolutely profound. And then he'll round out his point and go, but maybe no one's listening. I probably don't know what the hell I'm babbling about. I'm just babbling away here. You're like, what? Suddenly you snap out of it and go, what are you talking about? That was absolutely profound. I was on the edge of my seat. He's like, oh, well, sometimes I'm just rambling about nonsense. You're like, what? Don't demean what you're saying, Brian. This is awesome. Anyway, sometimes genius doesn't recognise itself. We do actually have some videos to cover today. We're at that point, about halfway through the live show, where we might actually cover some videos. Now, I don't know how to react to the first one because I don't know what the sources are, right? When I get presented with something like I'm about to present to you, the audience, I would hope that whoever's presenting it to me backs up everything that's being suggested with primary source evidence and stone cold facts that I can verify easily myself, and you ain't going to get that here, right? That's not what we're going to get in a minute. So forewarned, right? That is not what we get. Okay, so we'll go through it and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about almost immediately. This video is from Flat Out Truth, and he's covering Katy Perry. It's suggested that she's getting sued over the space hoax. Now, I'm not exactly Mr. Current Affairs, so if this is just common knowledge and I'm like, well, I'd probably have the same standard anyway, right? I haven't done any primary source studies on this particular claim, so forewarned. Is that enough weasel words? Did I put enough disclaimers in there, lads? I think I've covered myself.
No, but we have a few more.
A few more?
Yeah.
These are not the words of our channel. Videos that we cover and critique aren't necessarily the views of Flat Earth Debate or any of its members or Nathan.
Have you got a number I can call if I'm offended?
No, and I can't think of something funny to put a 1-800 before on the spur of this particular moment. So, no. There is a P.O. box address, though. No, we won't do it. We won't do it.
Turn of events more dramatic than a Hollywood sci-fi blockbuster. Jeff Bezos, billionaire founder of Amazon and space tourism frontman, has filed a jaw-dropping $50 million lawsuit against pop superstar Katy Perry. The reason? According to Bezos, Perry allegedly blew the lid off what was meant to be a tightly choreographed, PR-perfect space tourism stunt by opening the capsule from the inside, exposing the entire operation, and turning what was supposed to be a historic moment into an embarrassing media circus. The legal documents filed are nothing short of explosive.
I mean, it just sounds like total garbage nonsense waffle, right? Like someone's just started a spurious, nonsensical rumour. It's like, if Katy Perry ever opened the door at 10 to the minus 17 tour and it all got sucked out into the sky vacuum, now that would have been terrible PR. And you could understand someone suing someone over that, right? But this notion that one of the actors in this charade is going to get sued for botching a door opening? I mean, come on. Has the videographer not watched Dave McKeegan?
Bezos, through his legal team, claims that Perry violated direct instructions and internal protocol, effectively sabotaging the space capsule's grand reveal. In what Bezos describes as a devastating mistake, Perry opened the capsule hatch from the inside before Bezos could make his choreographed external appearance, exposing what he claims was a simulation environment meant solely for visual and promotional effect. To put it plainly, the Amazon founder is accusing Katy Perry of exposing the alleged truth behind a heavily publicized spaceflight.
Anybody know about this garbage waffle? It just seems like made up tripe to me.
It seems like one of those, let's talk about how the lamppost works in Narnia.
Yeah, exactly. True or not true, it's irrelevant. It's don't look at the right hand and what this purpose, what the purpose of this entire endeavour is. It's to just remind you that Earth's a ball flying through a sky vacuum. Because it fundamentally isn't, and that lie needs to constantly be reaffirmed in the mind's eye of the people being lied to about it.
That it never left Earth. What was supposed to be Blue Origin's glittering moment, featuring Katy Perry as the surprise celebrity guest aboard the next-gen capsule, has...
The other thing is, this works on a multitude of levels, right? Because let's say for the sake of argument that they do actually have the ability to send up these chicks or whoever to a reasonably high altitude, and they do get to, at the top of the arc of that path, that trajectory, experience for a few seconds the perceived weightlessness that, you know, travelling down as the capsule around you travels down at the same rate can be achieved in a parabolic manoeuvre, right? They've described it. So would it make sense if you obviously were acutely aware that lots of what you do in the claim to be sky vacuum isn't real and often does need fake footage to go alongside it, or indeed create it from scratch, would it not make sense to use some of the techniques to intentionally render some of an some of the aspects of an actual trip up high. Let me explain. So the idea is you get all these chicks, you shove them in a rocket that will send them up. That is to say, everything they've said occurred does actually occur. They send them up relatively high. Doesn't matter what altitude, other than that measurement, if there was one, would be off a flat plane. But they send them up relatively high. The capsule comes back down, clonk, hits the ground, hopefully no spinal injuries, and they come out. Capsule opens from the inside and then gets closed, gets opened by Bezos, and then you have this rigmarole, right? Okay, so we're all up to date. But in between the actual real and could have just been filmed footage of them going up, they insert rendered CGI so that you're getting used to something that is genuinely real looking like the rendered version, because it is the rendered version, but you're told it's the real version. So it's the whole, it's real because it looks so fake. Well, real stuff might have fake stuff inserted so that when someone's like, don't be so stupid, it's not fake, and then they legitimately prove it with something that's of a standard that nobody could dispute. Yeah? So that would be my estimation, that you'd insert some fakery into stuff that you are really doing just to keep the expectation that much lower when you are at a higher stake, I would imagine. Faking something else. You know, people are already used to seeing the rendered bit in between real images when there isn't any real necessary need to put in a rendered rocket going up, right? But do it, but still put it in anyway, so that you've got always, even when it's real, got a mix of real and fake. Anybody disagree?
You made it, the explanation of why you're doing it is almost as convoluted as their description of what happened.
All I'm saying is you do it for real, but then insert a bit of fakery in with the real stuff. Like it's the other way around when you're faking it. You fake it, but you also insert some real stuff in there too. Yeah? Make sense?
Right. You're
It's never
blurring the
100%
line.
fake. It's never 100% fake. It's never 100% real either.
Instead spiraled into an all-out media frenzy. The stunt, meant to reinforce Bezos' space empire as not only revolutionary, but also pop culture relevant.
The other thing is, we've seen this play from this playbook occur every 10 years anyway, or every 20 years, probably. So Virgin and Jeff, what was his name? Richard Branson. Yeah, that was the last recycling of this way of doing it, wasn't it? Exactly the same thing. Last time they did it with those...
5 years ago.
Yeah, but they just recycle stuff over and over and over again.
Backfired in the most...
Theo Megaworty says, grey ops. I've never heard that term before. Anybody heard that one? Grey ops? He says exactly, so he's agreeing with me and my description and saying that's grey ops, I would assume. Anybody familiar with that term? Thank you for the thank you for the super chat, Theo Megaworty. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Never heard of grey ops.
Me neither.
It sounds like to put doubt in the mind instead of black ops, which is, you know, unknown, is to create doubt. Would be a gray ops.
Most catastrophic fashion. Perry's simple action, pushing the wrong button, or the right one depending on who you ask, has now triggered a war between two of the biggest names in their respective fields.
No, it hasn't.
According to insiders, the capsule was staged to appear...
There we go, there it was. According to insiders... No, that won't
name the sources.
Let's have the name, exactly. According to who?
Here, as though it had re-entered Earth's atmosphere after orbiting the planet. Bezos was supposed to dramatically...
This is just peeing down your back, this. Just accept this. Just accept this nonsense waffle. Why? Sources. What sources? Behind the scenes sources. Well, what are they called?
The ones that back our narrative.
The ones that back, yeah. The anonymous ones. What the bloody hell is this garbage?
Quickly opened the door from the outside, helping Perry out as cameras rolled and drones captured every second for a heavily produced live stream.
Why didn't he bend her over and spank her immediately? I mean, she was there right then. Did he have it out with her? Or did he let her hold up her daisy? I'm pretty sure he let her hold up his daisy. So, you know, you'd have thought he'd have dealt with it there and then if he had an issue.
Instead, the pop icon reported...
He looks like he's smiling to me. Doesn't look very displeased to me. I mean, sources tell me... Insert made-up waffle here. I won't do it.
Reportedly unlatched the inner handle and stepped out by herself, leaving technicians, PR handlers, and Bezos himself in complete disarray. The result? Media outlets and internet sleuths immediately began speculating. Sharp-eyed viewers noted that there was no re-entry scorch marks, no landing gear marks on the desert floor.
This is the waffle that they want us to argue about. What do we call it? Feast of nonsense garbage.
Yeah, yes, like the moon landing.
Yep.
Right. Where are the powder burns on the moon from the rockets blasting off and the sand being kicked up on that must be tangible object that we've definitely gone through a vacuum to reach? That must be true. But let's talk about this other thing.
Yeah. Very disappointing.
And worse, there were background noises in the live stream that suggested they were in a soundstage.
Noises? Don't talk noises.
The timeline of this...
Did one of them drop their keys where they were supposed to be in zero-G?
Space flight was quickly dissected and doubted. In less than 24 hours, hashtags like #BezosGate and #SpaceHoax trended worldwide. Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, it's that last little bit. So... where they're showing this little rocket going up. It's literally only 2 seconds we got of it.
Gate and
this. It just looked rendered. Now, there's a good chance that they did actually launch something and people saw it and they were watching a rocket go up. Now, when I last studied this 10 years ago, I came to the conclusion that there was nobody on any rockets going up to the sky. They're 1/3 scale models done with Disney-style perspective tricks to look like they're absolutely enormous. There's various rockets that they do physically make, but they're certainly not the ones they're launching. So, if they did the same for this, you know, they get on the ground to see a 1-scale model go up. Chicks do go up. They're just not going up in this particular method. They're going up by a different means to take all that footage with all their GoPros. And then this, what we're actually seeing on this little clip here...
SpaceHoax trended worldwide.
That has come straight out of a computer. I mean, it's just...
Well, even if you granted all of it is true, can they be going to a place that gas doesn't fill? And can you have an elevation from a curve?
No. I mean, this is another... I'm going through one hand's waving a handkerchief while the other one's picking your pocket, because that's what's basically happening here. The picking your pocket is them lying to you about sky vacuums. And the way they're doing it is by utilising flat earth measurements of things like heights. Shout out to Duncan McLeod. Let's just pop it on screen. Shout out to Duncan McLeod. They have balloons that look like space shuttles. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the super chat, Duncan.
Jeff Bezos, the man whose wealth and ambition have practically redefined 21st century capitalism, now finds himself on the defensive. His team argues that the exposure has not only hurt the credibility of Blue Origin, but also scared off investors, shaken corporate partnerships, and ignited what could be a long...
Oh yeah, I'm sure Amazon are terribly, terribly concerned.
Long-term PR disaster.
What a load of garbage. Who's made this stuff up? I mean, this is so cringe.
Perry is reportedly lawyering up, and her camp may be preparing...
Reportedly? Where are the reports? Let's see them.
...to countersue, alleging she was set up...
Really? What's the case number? Has it been opened yet? what is she? This CGI narrator, what's she babbling about? I hate calling voiceovers done by AI she. It's like, ugh.
Up as a scapegoat for an already risky stunt that was bound to unravel.
Risky? How can you have in your narrative that it was both fake and risky? What? Those two things aren't congruent.
Insiders hint that Perry was uncomfortable with aspects of the mission, but was reassured repeatedly.
What did she say? You got a picture of her talking while you talk. What gives? Oh, here's this flat-out truth. Did you make this up?
That everything was under control. The irony is thick. A pop star unintentionally becomes the whistleblower on what may have been the most elaborate space PR fabrication in history.
No, space is the most elaborate PR fabrication in history. Space is. Not Katy Perry opening a door at the wrong freaking time, if that's even true.
According to one person close to the...
Anybody actually heard Bezos go, yeah, they weren't meant to open that door? Has anybody actually heard him say that? Anybody? Anybody
No,
actually
and this
heard?
sounds like...
Go on.
Negative. I was trying to say that this sounds like it's his scrambling to double down on what happened with sources that aren't sources and names that aren't names, and it's like him trying to double down on what happened, even though there's no proof of what happened.
But there's already a narrative. There's a narrative that the door wasn't supposed to open. Says who? I mean, I watched that clip. When I first watched it, I saw it. And I didn't think anything of it. It's like, yeah, they're going to be a bit ceremonial. Yeah, can you close it again so Bezos can open it? Yeah, all right. So what? I mean, the amount of stuff that I used to film, not me filming it most of the time, but that was for TV, and what comes across as perfectly benign, not really going to be in need of being contrived. Wrong. It's always contrived. Always. So once you know that, when you see something like that, you're like, well, number one, at a much deeper level it's contrived. But just at the surface level that Bezos, who's not going to be completely in the know, right? Even if he's funny handshakes with every secret society under the sun, he's still never going to be fully in the know. For all I know, I'm more in the know than he is. He might still think there is actually a sky vacuum to send these chicks up to. I don't know where he's at. Yeah?
The billionaire. This lawsuit isn't just about recouping financial...
What lawsuit? Did we get the number?
...losses. It's about sending a message to anyone who might disrupt the narrative.
What message is being sent by what lawsuit that you haven't cited? Just making all of this up. She's not citing any of it.
You don't just walk out of a $1 billion simulation like it's a...
$1 billion? Where did that number come from?
...stage tent, the source quipped. As legal analysts dive into the case, many are asking...
there's legal analysts diving into this case that we haven't got a case number for. What the hell? I mean, are people this dumb? Really? Is this what society... Are we being tested? Will people just swallow this? If I make something up and say words like... I already know the answer, but before I've even started this sentence, I should just change the word analysts to science. Science says... Insert utter garbage that has not been proven here. You know what I mean? Analyst says... Right. Where? Who?
Deeper questions. If this was all truly a simulation, was the public misled? Were investors duped? Was it even legal to present a non-space flight as an actual mission?
Yeah, that's the only real question. Non-space flight. What do you mean? There is no space. That's the nitty-gritty, though. So the overarching theme presented by this videographer, who's presumably touting himself as a flat earther, is that in this narrative, it's whether or not they pretended to go to space when they didn't go to space. Like, no. There isn't space. You know, even if they really wanted to and actually spent all the money, they're not going to go there. It's like saying, did they really go to Narnia? Was it only a pretend Narnia trip? They said they went to Narnia. Did they only go halfway through the wardrobe to Narnia? We need to discuss whether or not they did actually go to Narnia when they said they went to Narnia. Because they said they went to Narnia. We don't think they went to Narnia. We think Katy Perry exposed how that particular trip didn't actually go to Narnia. It's like, hello, there isn't a Narnia. What are you babbling about whether or not they did or didn't?
So
there
I was
isn't
confused.
one.
I'm sorry, Nathan.
Go ahead.
This is a flat earther that made this content?
Yeah.
Oh.
If Perry's move cracked open the door, literally and metaphorically, what else will come tumbling out?
No, just literally. It was actually a door that opened. What, did she metaphorically open the door too? No, she literally did. It wasn't figuratively. Like, there was a door and it did open.
The dust settles. Jeff Bezos is finding himself in a PR nightmare of...
Really? PR nightmare? No, the only PR nightmare is the normies going, yeah, it looks really fake. That's it. That's all I've seen. And normies like my sister, my wife, you know, various family members who are like, nobody believes this. That's what they tell me either. They don't say I don't believe it. Right? I've heard several family members and friends tell me that they are reporting to me that the general public, by consensus, don't believe this. Now, even though I was quite weaselly, because I have to be, when I was asked, well, what do you think? Well, I don't think that they're being entirely honest with the full version of the events that are presented to us in the format that they're presenting them. It is words that I had to use, because I don't want a bleeding argument. I had microphones to list. You know what I mean? But then I get told promptly, no one's believing this. It's like, there's only me and you in the room, though. No, I didn't say this to my family members. I'm not going to name and shame any of them either. Right? I'm collectively bundling them all together because they've all collectively, not individually, not collectively together at the same time, but individually, have told me this narrative that others don't believe it. And then they're ascribed. So the Facebook groups don't believe this. You're like, do you believe it? That's what I should have said, but like I say, I had microphones to listen and I do this all day long on Flat Earth Debate. That's what we do here, right? But that's the point, isn't it? The distinction between a flat earther, in very loose terms, right, in stereotype terms, is between a flat earther and an anti-flat earther, is one, me, will go, I don't believe this. An anti-flat earther will go, people on Facebook don't believe this. How do you explain this, Facebook group? Are you retarded? Ethereal third party I will now invent to cast my aspersions on them disbelieving this. You know what I mean? Hey,
you know, Nathan, it sounds like this video is a controlled opposition video. I mean, most people don't think it was real, that they went to space. They're trying to divert what they're talking about. Instead of saying space is fake, they're saying the space flight was fake, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So you can shake a handkerchief while they're picking your pocket, right? That's all that's happening. They're actually faking space. But if they can say, nah, Bezos didn't really go to space. They were doing it before it was even called out by the public as looking very fake. They would say, is the altitude actually technically space? You're like, yeah, that's what this game is. We'll debate whether or not he actually went to space. It's like, so whether or not they did or didn't go through the wardrobe to Narnia. They said they went to Narnia. But these pictures, that looks a lot like fake snow. I don't think they actually went to Narnia. Did they actually go to Narnia? They said they were going through the wardrobe, all the way through the wardrobe. But were they just taking some shots from like where the coats hang, but didn't actually really go through? Is that what really happened? It's like, no. What is really happening is what we talk about. There isn't a Narnia. Outer space is fake. There is no sky vacuum.
So we got Space Gate.
Space Door Gate. Sue Gate.
All the gates, baby. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Or Katy Perry.
Katy Perry Gate.
Personally, I find it.
it gets more amusing for me every day because, like you were saying before, like the narrative of the people that believe it is that nobody believes it. It's kind of strange, but at the same time, I completely understand because it looks like crap. But the mainstream narrative of this is all over the place, and it's just too funny.
Exactly.
Agreed, 100%, Jerry.
If people don't believe it, you've got to control what it is that they're perceived to not be believing. So in this case, well, we don't believe that Jeff took the girls to space when in reality there just isn't a space to go to.
It's count the number of passes.
Is that even the people who believe that they did go to space will say that they didn't really go to space. So the pushing of the space thing is kind of funny because the people who believe don't believe they went to space, and then most of the other people that believe in space don't believe they went to space either. So that's great.
It's count the number of passes, right?
Sorry, they're keeping it half true, right? They're saying they didn't go to space, which is true. They're just not saying the other half. Very clever.
Yeah.
Count the number of passes that the white team makes as opposed to the black team. Just keep counting those passes. Don't pay attention to the dancing bear in the background.
Yeah, it's like the flat earther presenting a video isn't a flat earther.
What dancing bear?
The area that they claim gas is not filling.
Oh.
Oops, I thought I was off.
Between that and... Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. I spoiled my own moment.
There's actually two dancing bears in this one. Well, I guess there's the dancing bear and then the curtain changing color, right? The dancing bear.
In case the audience doesn't know what John's talking about, there's an exercise where you're asked to count one of two teams. There's a green team and a red team, say. And they say, pick a team, one or the other, green or red, and just count how many passes take place over the course of the next 60 seconds. Go. And then the clock counts down, and you'll pick team one and count how many passes there are. Then the clock ends, and they're like, right, okay, you got your number? You think, yeah, I've got my number, 25 passes. They go, did you notice the dancing bear? And you go, what? Did you notice the dancing bear? You go, what are you talking about? And then they show you the footage again and rewind it and show you that in the middle between the two groups that are passing the ball back between each other, a bear walks into shot, dances around, does a little jig, waves his bum at the camera, and then walks off again in the other side of the frame. While you're counting the passes, you didn't notice that there was a bear walking in and out of the shot. And you go, yeah, well, now next time I'd notice. Yeah, you wouldn't catch me out again. You're like, right, so you think you've spotted all there is to spot then? Yeah, now I know there's a bear going to be introduced. I'd know that next time. You go, okay, well, let's watch it again. So you watch it again. You're like, yeah, okay, I got it. I see the bear. You're like, okay, what colour was the set when the video started? And you look at the last frame of the set, which it's paused on, and it's blue. And you go, blue. And they rewind the video again and show you that the beginning of the shot was green in the background, and they faded the colours to blue towards the end of the video. And you go, you got me again. I just wasn't paying attention.
Exactly. The second they used one was an area the gas isn't filling, a violation of natural law, and the second was the elevations they went. Were they with respect to a ball?
How far up is out?
They don't have up.
How far up is out?
Is that what he said? Is that what you said, Brian? How far up is out?
Yeah, how far up is out? You know, like they're kind of arguing about at what point in up becomes out. You know what I mean? You know, how
I
far
need
off
to
do you have
shave
to
my
go
head and
before
go
you
up a
look out?
mountain to answer that.
Out a mountain.
A Glober would say it happens at the same time and also doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, right down your back. Right down your back. 108 people watching. Please share the show if you're enjoying the show. There's only 108 people watching because people share the show. Shout out to you, Unimento. Hope I say your name right each time I shout you out in the pre-show for your patronage. Thank you very much indeed for it. Don't often see you in the chat itself. Nice to see one of my Patreons. But yeah, please share the show. It's only a couple of clicks, so smash that share button if you haven't done so already. Been a nice show. Interesting that the numbers are reasonably healthy, because typically, again, as we were talking about politics at the beginning of the show, we might as well round out by talking about it as well. The numbers for the politics were lower than all the other live shows. Noteworthy. Do you remember? I would always mention how they're the least well-received shows. Yes, Nathan, we remember you saying that specifically. Well, it's good that you remember, because it's true. But whereas today, we're actually, we're not struggling to get up to 100. We were almost at 100 pretty much, in the first half of the show rather than the second half. And we've stayed well into 100 viewers and above since we've been live. Isn't that interesting?
And
Well,
I've
not
noticed
really,
your blood
because
pressure's down too.
My blood pressure's down.
Yeah, in politics, they would raise your blood pressure with the retards that would come in. And you'd start swearing and flipping out and using words you shouldn't use.
Yeah, but it was a free-for-all. It was once a week. It was something to look forward to. I'm going to miss it, I'll be honest.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, well, people have enough of listening to stupid idiots with stupid questions. You know what I mean? Like, if you've been a flat earther for a few years, you've dealt with the borders enough. You don't want to be dealing with, like, you've heard it all. Do you know what I mean? You've heard all the stupidity. You've heard all the, you're aware of all the tricks, all the nonsense. Like, the average person who doesn't even encounter it all the time would spot that there's obvious issues there. But then again, you getting angry at them and all the rest of it, like people are going to go, oh, I don't want to hear that. I want all that on my Friday. So you just don't want it, maybe,
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to round out shortly, unless there's anything else we want to add on this Katy Perry nonsense. I think this is probably going to be the last time we end up covering it.
Is this a claim that she's suing Jeff Bezos?
Yeah. Or the other way around. Jeff Bezos is suing her for scuppering the hoax. You're like, oh my God.
Well, he can't really sue her for that, can he? If it was true.
Let's talk about this. How does that gas lamp in the forecourt of Narnia work again?
Brian, sources say. Now, who those sources are, we have not confirmed.
Yeah. The whole thing could be, this whole garb about the lawsuit could be a joke, but
oh no,
I don't see,
not at all. It's no joke. Financial analysts say it could be devastating.
Well, I don't see how, if it was real, I don't see how he could sue her.
Well,
what could he do?
It's all nonsense.
He's creating the hoax. Unless did she agree to the hoax? If she did and she made a mistake, that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, hold on.
Can't sue her for that.
Let me just check. I'm getting news that yes, she did. Sources say yes.
I know, yeah, it's one of those, yeah. Supposed sources say, well, I get her. I'm not naive. I understand that. I'm trying to create a conversation around the possibilities. And you're pointing out where I'm being naive, but I'm not being naive. I totally understand that point. I'm just saying, would it be possible for him to sue her under the circumstance?
Let me say it to him. Where there's blame, there's a claim.
Well, this is your Narnia correspondent, and it seems as if the White Queen is suing the 4 children from Earth, the princes and princesses of Narnia, for damages incurred during their reign.
Well done. Exactly. Is it possible for Edmund to sue the White Witch? Has he got an actionable suit? I'm pretty sure where there's blame, there's a claim. I would suggest that Edmund's actually got a pretty good chance of winning. Anyway, shout out to us so far. It's a bit more correct to say space, open brackets, as we've been taught, close brackets, is fake, question mark, because the area above our heads is not fake. It's only the Narnia portion that is fake. Yeah, outer space, the sky vacuum at 10 to the minus 17, tour fake. Space is just length, breadth, and depth. So yeah, absolutely correct. Good super chat. Thank you very much indeed for it. But with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Oh, I need to pause that recording. Where's my mouse gone? There it is. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who did smash the super chat, like, comment, share, subscribe, join as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, all that good stuff. And of course, a massive thank you to Discord and G+ Panels for making today's live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.